What's up, Savvy Expats? So we are with Brian and Christina from Living La Vida Tagalog, and today we're going to be asking them about their experience moving from the U.S. to the Philippines. So, Brian, why don't we just start with an introduction on you two and how you guys moved here?
Sure, ladies first.
I'm Christina. I'm the prettier side of Living La Vida Tagalog. So before we got here, we were running the normal 9-to-5 rat race back in Southern California. I was working as a financial crimes investigator for one of the major banks. And the kids were doing, regular schooling every day, and it was get up at 7, go to work, drop everyone off, and, start all over again.
I see. And Brian, what were you doing at the time?
I was actually working from home already before the pandemic. Working for Department of Energy, NNSA. I come from a military background. I was, same thing with Christina, working 9 to 5. But it wasn't something that we just could see ourselves doing forever. Right. So we needed a change, I think. Maybe this is an extreme change, but
But a good change as well.
Yeah.
So you guys were working a normal 9 to 5 job. What were the main reasons, or what prompted you guys to want to move to the Philippines?
Well, it's obvious Brian is Filipino. So that is...
Is it that obvious though? I don't
Hard
know.
to read.
You can comment below.
Comment down below, guys.
I think we came here to visit back in 2019, just as a family trip. And we were here for maybe 2 weeks, I think. And we were just like, wow, it wasn't anything that he had remembered from when he was a kid. And then, showing it all to me and bringing the kids here, we were like, I think we could do this. I think we could actually live here. Will you guys be moving out of state? Answer, yes. We are moving out of state.
We're moving out of the country, actually.
Out of the country. And at that point, we kind of put it for ourselves on a 5-year plan.
Yeah, and I think for context, right? So when Christina says, yeah, it's obvious I'm Filipino. Yes, born and raised here in Philippines, but I've been in California for, nearly 3 decades, right? So for all intents and purposes, coming back here, I'm a foreigner by all standards, right? I know nothing about this place. So every time we would go on vacation, right? We've traveled internationally before coming to Philippines, more than a handful of countries, and each and every time we go to vacation, we want to hold on to that feeling of being on vacation, but we just didn't know how to do it. So I think finally what set the tone for us was when we visited Philippines for the first time, and we said, you know what? I mean, after seeing this place, we have to make this happen. We'll make it a 5-year plan. COVID accelerated that, and so I think it happened in 3 years, which is great. So,
Second question is, what were some of your main concerns that you had before moving here?
I would say healthcare. Access to quality healthcare, I should say. Was it a concern about living conditions? Not really, because I think we got a taste of BGC, like I said, when we first visited a few years ago. So we knew that this was an ideal location for us. And transition would be a little bit easier if we were able to get in here. But aside from quality healthcare, I mean, we didn't have to worry about the education for the kids because they are homeschooled. But, I understand some families, traveling with little kids like us, that's a question too. But for us, it was just easier for them to continue attending the homeschool that they were already in.
No, I wouldn't say anything specific because I didn't know what to expect, so I didn't know what I would have to be concerned about. So it was kind of a blessing if you think of it in that aspect. I didn't know that I was going to face some challenges going grocery shopping or, the heat. I knew it was going to be hot. I knew it was going to be humid. I didn't know it was going to melt down 3 or 4 times a week, so stressed out because I'm hot and sweaty when we were out walking around. Eventually, I adapted, so, it's a beautiful day out today. I'm not sweating at all.
I was going to add to, actually, safety was a concern. But this is no different, right? We've moved around the States, me and Christina, for, over the years. And each and every time we move to someplace new, the first thing we research is this top safe cities in XYZ, right? Yeah. But again, coming to BGC before, having visited the place ourselves, seeing it firsthand, we knew the safety aspect of what comes with living in this kind of space.
And so now that you guys are in the Philippines, what were some of the main problems you encountered living here?
I would say it's a challenge.
Or challenges.
Yes.
There you go.
So for me, definitely challenges were, of course, like I said, grocery shopping and trying to understand a lot of the etiquette in those ways. What's acceptable versus not acceptable. I didn't want to be perceived as that rude American, but also everyone's so welcoming and so friendly and just happy to help. So that was maybe one of the challenges, getting used to people being so friendly and like willing to help you, because that's not typical. Definitely from where we were from, you know, if you were stopping someone to ask a question, you were inconveniencing them. I'd say that was probably a little bit of a challenge.
So I think what we failed to understand and realize was coming here vacationing is much different than coming here to live here, right? What I mean by that is now we found ourselves having to figure out the logistics of setting up our cell phones, setting up internet at the condo. One of the biggest challenges I think with that was when we first walked into, you know, the telecom places here. First question was, how many minutes, you know, do you want, or how much data do you need? Now, coming from the States, everyone knows this. We have unlimited data, unlimited talk, unlimited text, and all of a sudden I'm being asked a question to pick a plan. Hey, how much data I'm gonna need for the month, when I really don't have an, you know, intelligent answer for that. So I wish I was better prepared. Some way, somehow I knew what I was walking into, because I could have researched my cell phone data and gone back in my records and seen, okay, when I go to Philippines, I'm going to tell them I need 50 gigs of data. I'm not saying that that's what you should get. I'm saying it's really different for each and every one.
I'm going to plug Evan's video because he talks about that.
The internet and call
You
plans.
put that video
there you go. Links up here or here, somewhere.
Put a card up there.
I went through all of that and I'm like, oh man.
The second thing I'd say is setting up the logistics of internet. Now, coming from the States, again, whoever the big companies are out there, they're assigned, I'd say, a geographical location for their territory. So depending on where you live in the States, that's the only carrier you have. It's like one or maybe two. Whereas here, it's different. We found that it's building dependent, right? So in our complex, there's 3 buildings, but not all of them offer the same exact carrier and capabilities and Wi-Fi speeds within that carrier. Had we known about those things, we would have chosen our condo where we were going to live based on Wi-Fi speeds, just because of the fact that we run our own channel as well.
Yeah.
So, but again, that doesn't apply to everyone.
And fourth question is, why did you decide to move to BGC or Bonifacio Global City?
I'll start off by saying this place is totally a bubble.
Yes.
We're very fortunate to live in this little bubble. We were out with some friends the other night and somebody actually used a comparison of like, we live in the Truman Show.
Yes.
So I found it really interesting. I thought that was like the perfect way to describe it, because we do. It's not what you see everywhere else in the Philippines. It is very different. But for us, I think it's so westernized that it made that transition and the move so much easier. I don't want to say seamless because we had our bumps, but it was so much easier than if we were to be moving, you know, somewhere outside of BGC, where we might have even more challenges than we experienced when we came in here.
And it's funny because when I first moved here to the Philippines, one of my friends asked me, he's like, Evan, why did you want to move to the Philippines? I'm like, oh, well, to experience my culture and where I'm actually from. Started cracking up because I'm living in BGC.
Yeah.
He's like, and I always say we live in the Philippines, but we don't really live in the Philippines.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part about living in BGC is that if you don't want to adjust completely into provincial Philippine life, where it's in the middle of, you know, the beaches or the oceans, the nature part of the Philippines, and you do experience some sort of uncomfortability as opposed to like when you're living in California or a westernized city like New York, then moving to BGC is an ideal place because it's still westernized, it's still convenient, and it's comfortable here, while you can still go out a couple minutes drive to the province and experience what the Philippines is known for.
Yeah, but if I can add to that, I think that context, you know, I guess it's no different than picking, you know, let's say the Hamptons, right? Living in the Hamptons or living in Beverly Hills, they're all in a bubble, right? So BGC is no different, right? We're not saying that BGC is representative of Philippines as a whole. No, but we chose to live here, you know, like Christina mentioned, like Evan mentioned. I mean, the transition for us was a bit easier because we have access to cafes, to restaurants, to shopping. I mean, you know, we've never lived in a city like this before. We came from the suburbs, right? But the suburbs really doesn't exist in Philippines. There's no such thing, right?
No,
I mean, the concept, concept does not exist, right? So this was honestly the next best thing. Yeah. So we lived, and again, the safety aspect, right? This is for myself, having been to all the big downtowns across the U.S., This is so unique, BGC, because this is the only downtown I've seen where you don't see homeless people anywhere. You don't see the tents on the sidewalks like you do in San Francisco or whatever. So that makes this place, I think, very unique from other downtowns out there.
Very true. It's almost like Singapore in a way.
Yes.
Yes.
High end.
Yes.
And next question is, what were the biggest culture shocks you faced moving to the Philippines?
Culture shock, I think using the restroom or bathroom for the first time here, realizing that their paper towel is a toilet paper for most bathrooms, not all, but most bathrooms have paper. They use toilet paper to dispense next to the sink so you can wipe your hands with it. Now the problem with that is, as you know, that toilet papers are thin. It's just not effective.
No.
Number one. Number two, I think culture shock, I would say, would be the concept of not having personal space. That's a big one for me, especially for the kids. In the States, I can't touch you, perfect, you know. But otherwise, here, it's not like that. People bump into me, you know, shoulder to shoulder for no reason at all. And for them, that's normal.
And there's plenty of space.
And there's plenty of space. Now, I don't know. I think a second thing or third thing I'd say is there's a lot of people that cut lines.
Yes.
I don't know what that is, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
I scratch my head on that one.
Yeah.
There's just certain parts about Philippine culture where it's very important with etiquette in the States, but here it's not really thought of much. For example, cutting in line. If you do that in the States, it's not going to end well.
No.
Right? Or if you don't keep personal space in the States, even if you're in like a subway, people still somewhat try to keep as much personal space as you can. Here in the Philippines, you notice it's not uncommon if you're walking on a sidewalk. There's plenty of room on the sidewalk. You're on the right side. They're walking on the left side, but then they go on the right side right where you are. So it's not uncommon to see things like that. And if you do experience that, don't get too mad about it. It's just not really thought about in this culture.
Well, can I say like pros of culture shock? Because I feel like the three things I said were like negative. But let me end it on a good note. Fast food or eating at dining places and stuff, you don't have to clean up after yourself, which is a weird, shocking thing. You leave your tray, you leave your mess there and walk away, and then someone comes and picks it up.
Yeah.
In the States, right, you have to police your own space. So that was a pleasant experience when I realized that was normal. You don't have to tip, which is great for us. I was just gonna say, culture shock, I was amazed at how welcoming people were or are with cameras. People, you know, a lot of times, you know, when we're out shooting ourselves, people would see us and they will get right front and center of the camera and wave, say hello. Whereas in the States, we couldn't get away with that. I mean, people get mad if they thought that we were pointing the camera somewhere in their vicinity.
Yeah, it's actually very vlogger friendly here, which is nice.
Very much.
Speaking of prices, can you guys dive a little bit deeper into how your cost of living has changed moving from California to BGC?
Well, like I said, we took a significant pay cut by moving here. So we did have to change up our, spending or on the things we could be a little more thoughtful about eating out and then even cooking, because depending on what I want to cook, if I want to have all organic everything, it's going to cost me a whole lot more here than it actually does back in the US. So it's sort of, I don't think it really changed necessarily too much. It just kind of became more relative to where we're at now. Gosh, I would say budget-wise, we're really comfortable on probably just under $3,000.
Yeah.
And that's like us being able to eat out, at nice restaurants twice a week and, grab food delivery every other day.
Yeah, and that's what I've talked about in the past when it comes to living in BGC. I think the ideal budget for most people moving here will be around $3,000 per month. That's around, ballpark what it's going to offer you a good lifestyle where you're not just scratching by, but you actually get to enjoy the city and enjoy your retired lifestyle. And next question is, what were the hardest things for you guys or for your kids to adjust to when you first moved here?
Weather.
The heat.
Weather. That's honestly the biggest thing. I mean, there's something about external factors such as climate that really I think affects a lot of people like deep down. When there's some people that just hate the extreme cold or extreme heat. For us, being from California, that's a Mediterranean weather. We were very spoiled with that. Coming here, humidity as you know, averages at what, 65 degrees or something like that, or 65% rather. That's a pretty big change for us. I think aside from climate,
Mosquitoes.
oh gosh, yeah, mosquitoes are a big thing for us, and they really, really like us, or at least with Christina.
Yeah.
They don't bother the kids too much. You know, but we've been in a situation like this before when we were in Houston visiting our friends. They have a lot of mosquitoes there too, but for some reason here, it's a bit different. It's more mosquitoes, more aggressive, I'd say.
Yeah.
My personal opinion on it. So.
Agreed.
Yes. And the next question is, what was your family's initial thoughts of you guys moving to the Philippines?
My family was not happy about it. They were, I can't think of like a good word. They accepted it, but they weren't willing to accept it. Like they knew it was an inevitable, but I think from an emotional standpoint, it was really, really hard to sort of separate ourselves from each other in that manner. Physically, not an issue, but I had a lot of, you're taking the kids away from us. And Brian and I sort of would chuckle at each other because it's like they don't care that we're leaving. They're more sad because the kids are leaving. And I get it, I do. But you know, ultimately, I told him, I said, there are kids, and what we decide we want to do, what we want to show them in the world, should not be dictated by what our families want for them, or even what society wants for them. We're the ones who get to decide what they're going to see.
I think for me, my mom was fairly happy for us, because I think in part she was a little bit jealous herself that we're getting to do something that I think she wants to do as well. My dad was, I would say, a bit opposite from that. He said that I couldn't really do that because I haven't put in my time yet. So, you know, he's a little bit, you know, more old school traditional thinking and stuff. And he comes from a generation that, you know, you stay at one job and you work there until your retirement age. So I think it was hard for him to understand that, coupled with the fact that, you know, as I mentioned, me and Christina had really, really, really great jobs, careers, and he didn't understand why we would walk away from the careers, the house, the cars, you know, but these are just kind of all about materialistic things that, you know, we're not too concerned about. Like, yeah, I understand we have to have things in life, but we're just not those people that, you know, prescribe to that kind of stuff. So,
Do you guys ever plan on moving back, or this is a complete permanent move for you guys?
I can't see myself moving back.
I don't expect us to move back to the U.S. I don't know if we'll stay here forever. I mean, right now it feels that way because I feel so comfortable here. So for right now, this is going to be for now. That's what we always talk about. It's not forever, it's for now. But we have talked about potentially looking into provinces and maybe building a property that we can kind of consider our home base as we're traveling throughout the world.
Yeah, and I think I just want to add to that, and the reason I say that is I think, you know, going back to the quality of lifestyle that we have, you know, a lot of households in the States, you know, they use Sundays specifically as a laundry day, as everyone refers it to. Here for us, there is no such thing as laundry day, right? We do very minimal dishes, we do very minimal the nitty-gritty, you know, just household chores. I mean, no one likes to do household chores, right? Let's be honest, right? And we don't have a yaya, so we do have to do things ourselves, just like we did, you know, back in the States. But I think if we have to go back to California, that means that we would have to go back to getting jobs. We would have to go back to having laundry Sundays. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, those are necessarily bad things, but I think for us, this is something that just really works for us. And it's a personal preference, really, guys. I mean, if you like laundry Sundays and stuff, I mean, to each their own. For us, it's not a thing. So,
Yeah. So it seems like you guys have a lot of convenience or almost minimalism in your life,
Yeah.
where everything is set up in a place where you have basically time to yourself. You don't have to, you know, spend so much time on household chores.
yeah, I think you should. It's funny. Wish we had a picture. If you see our old house, you would think we just had moved in here because there were very minimal, you know, decorations and stuff. And that's just naturally how we keep our lifestyle. You're right. We're very minimalistic. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much, Brian and Christina, for your time.
You're welcome, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. You know, just keep on watching. Keep staying in tune with this guy. He knows absolutely just a wealth of knowledge. So, you know, keep tuning in.
Yes.
See you guys in the next video.